Deep in the subtropical waters of the East China Sea lies Amami Oshima. Covering roughly 712 square kilometers, this isolated landmass is the second largest of the Ryukyu archipelago. Geographically, it sits isolated between the southernmost main island of Japan, Kyushu, and the tropical prefecture of Okinawa. For the island's population of roughly 67,000 residents, life here is a unique blend of modern Japanese infrastructure and deep-rooted regional isolation. The hub of human life is Amami City, locally known as Naze, located on the northern coast. The local economy relies heavily on sugarcane farming, commercial fishing, and a highly prized traditional silk dyeing industry known as Oshima Tsumugi. Despite its remote coordinates, the island is not cut off from civilization. It features a modern regional airport processing regular domestic flights. These flights connect residents directly to mainland hubs like Tokyo, Osaka, and the nearest massive prefectural city, Kagoshima. For heavy cargo and budget travelers, a network of large passenger ferries bridges the gap. On the island itself, everyday life looks like any small-scale Japanese town. There are local bus networks, modern schools, supermarkets, and fully equipped healthcare facilities. Yet, the moment you step past the paved streets, you enter a primitive jungle. You enter a primitive, dense laurel forest ecosystem. This unique wilderness evolved in near total isolation for millions of years, earning it a prestigious status as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It is home to ancient evolutionary living relics found nowhere else on Earth, like the primitive dark-furred Amami rabbit. It is also home to the unique Amami tip-nosed frog. But for the thousands of farmers and forest workers who called this paradise home, these stunning deep green jungles harbored a terrifying, lethal secret. Hidden beneath the thick leaf litter and limestone crevices was a hyper-aggressive predator. This predator was the habu snake. Formerly known as Protobothrops flavoviridis, the habu is a massive, highly venomous pit viper capable of growing up to 2.2 meters in length. Armed with a long strike range and incredibly long, hollow fangs, the habu is uniquely volatile and highly dangerous. Unlike many snakes that flee from humans, the habu stands its ground and strikes instantly if disturbed. Its venom is intensely hemotoxic, causing severe tissue necrosis, agonizing pain, and permanent muscle damage. During the 20th century, as agriculture expanded into the jungle, encounters skyrocketed. The habu became a full-blown crisis. While fatal casualties occurred, the sheer volume of severe disabling injuries plagued the workforce. Farmers lived in constant psychological fear, terrified to step into their own sugarcane fields. Desperate to protect the population, the local government tried everything. They placed bounties on the snakes, offering cash rewards for every dead habu brought in. Entire villages rushed into the forest to harvest the vipers, sparking a massive snake hunting economy. Live specimens were even turned into high-proof snake liquor. But despite thousands of captures, the snake population refused to go down. The deep, inaccessible mountain jungles acted as a natural incubator. Humanity was losing the war against the habu. They needed a miracle. They needed a weapon that could hunt the snakes where humans couldn't. In 1979, scientists and local officials believed they had found the ultimate silver bullet. They looked to the small Indian mongoose. In classic biology textbooks, the mongoose is celebrated as a legendary, lightning-fast assassin. They are capable of killing venomous cobras and vipers without getting scratched. The logic seemed ironclad. Introduce a natural apex predator to the island, let them breed, and let nature clean up the snake problem for free. 30 small Indian mongooses were shipped to the island and released. But the entire strategy was built on a monumental, catastrophic oversight in basic behavioral ecology. The planners completely ignored the animal's biological clocks. The small Indian mongoose is strictly diurnal. It sleeps all night and hunts exclusively during the day. The habu snake, however, is nocturnal. It spends the hot daylight hours wedged deep inside dark rock crevices or hollow trees, only emerging to hunt after dusk. Because their schedules completely mismatched, the two species almost never met. The mongoose population did not eat the snakes at all. The native species had absolutely no defense mechanisms against a fast, warm-blooded hunter. The mongooses ignored the venomous vipers and began systematically decimating the island's endangered treasure trove of biodiversity. Fueled by an endless supply of easy prey, the initial group of 30 mongooses multiplied exponentially. By the year 2000, their population exploded to a staggering, out-of-control estimate of nearly 10,000 units. They expanded rapidly across the entire territory, pushing the island's delicate ecosystem to the absolute brink of total and catastrophic collapse. Humanity had created a double nightmare. Not only was the venomous habu snake still thriving, but an invasive army of mongooses was wiping out a global biodiversity jewel. Realizing the immense scale of their blunder, the island embarked on a massive, decades-long battle to reverse the damage. The early resistance began back in 1993 when local authorities and concerned researchers launched the very first small-scale control and trapping programs. But as the mongoose population continued to grow out of control, it became clear that local, uncoordinated efforts were losing ground. Recognizing the imminent collapse of a UNESCO ecosystem, the National Japanese Ministry of the Environment stepped in with full-scale backing. In 2005, they formally mobilized an elite, highly specialized tactical task force known as the Amami Mongoose Busters. They deployed a staggering web of over 30,000 specialized traps across the dense terrain, monitored wide-area motion sensor camera grids, and deployed highly trained mongoose detection sniffing dogs to hunt down hidden dens deep in the thick mountain brush. From those early local trials in 1993 to the final wrap-up phases, it took over 30 years of continuous daily tracking to completely turn the tide. Between 1993 and 2024, the Japanese government spent an estimated 3.5 billion yen. Captured mongoose numbers plummeted from thousands per year down to absolute zero. The very last single mongoose was pulled from a trap in April 2018. On September 3, 2024, the small Indian mongoose was officially 100% eradicated from the island. The native Amami rabbit and unique frog populations are staging a spectacular historic recovery. And as for the terrifying habu snake, they're still there, living in heavy numbers. They remain in completely natural numbers throughout the deep forests. The islanders manage the threat through modern medical antivenoms, educational safety protocols, and reinforced housing, leaving behind a multi-million-dollar lesson. The story of Amami Oshima stands as a powerful multi-million-dollar reminder of what happens when we try to outsmart nature, leaving behind a historic lesson on the true cost of invasive species. I hope you enjoyed this deep dive into one of history's most fascinating ecological turnarounds. If you did, please make sure to smash that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss another story. Until next time, stay curious.